The world responds to how you allocate your time. When you offer an endless supply of your attention, you become an ignored commodity. To shift this perception, you must limit your availability, solidifying your time into something finite and valuable. Classical economics defines relative abundance as a state where the supply of a good meets or exceeds all requirements. In this state, the market price of that resource naturally moves towards zero. This principle applies to social dynamics. Replying to every message instantly and accepting every invitation signals an infinite supply of your presence. When you are always there, the cost of your attention effectively vanishes. This diagram illustrates opportunity cost, the value of the next best alternative you give up when making a choice. Resources are only economized when they have an alternative use. By giving your time away without a trade-off against your own goals, you signal that your time has no alternative value. Failing to enforce an opportunity cost on your time tells the world that your attention is a free good. Humans have a biological drive to maintain social harmony. To avoid the friction of conflict, the brain often defaults to a yes, prioritizing immediate social ease over long-term worth. While an individual might view this as being helpful, the broader market processes it as a lack of boundaries. This lack of friction means others don't have to work to earn your time. Consequently, when people seek out high-value opinions or leadership, they frequently overlook the person who is always available, turning instead to those who are harder to reach. Treating your energy as an unlimited resource makes you less essential to those around you. To navigate a complex world, the brain uses mental shortcuts. One of the most powerful is the scarcity heuristic, a rule of thumb that equates the difficulty of obtaining an item with its inherent value. In the Wurzel cookie experiment, subjects rated a jar with 2 cookies as more desirable than an identical jar with 10. When researchers removed 8 cookies from the full jar, the remaining 2's perceived value spiked even higher. This suggests that desire is driven less by intrinsic quality and more by the perceived threat of losing access to a resource. Respect and demand are often triggered by sudden unavailability rather than consistent presence. This psychological response occurs far beyond the lab. In 2003, British Airways announced they would stop operating the Concorde flight because it was no longer economical. Sales for the flight rose sharply the very next day. The price and service were the same as they had been for years, but the resource had suddenly become finite. This is psychological reactance. When we perceive that our options are being limited, we experience an urgent desire to regain that lost freedom of choice. Human relationships follow the same pattern. Withdrawing your constant presence can trigger this exact response, making your attention a sought-after resource rather than a given. Your availability dictates the demand for your time. As long as you are always there, demand remains flat. As you restrict access, your perceived value grows. In the digital economy, software and information are infinitely replicable. Without artificial constraints, the supply of digital goods would be endless, and their market value would be negligible. This is why Bitcoin and other digital assets use planned scarcity. By hitting a rigid, hard-coded limit on supply, these networks transform an easily replicable digital node into a scarce asset with massive global value. You can apply this same blueprint to your own life by establishing protocols for your own accessibility. In an era of constant digital connection, engineering your own scarcity is a primary tool for maintaining your personal worth. Authentic scarcity is a byproduct of self-investment. It emerges when you prioritize your own growth over the trivial demands of others. Strategic absence occurs when you pursue a singular purpose that requires you to physically remove yourself from all distractions. It is the result of focusing on high-value work rather than low-value communication. Mastering your own value requires becoming comfortable with the friction that comes with the word no. Your worth is often decided in the moments you are absent. Break the habit of being constantly accessible. Subscribe to MindUnlock and type "I am rarity" in the comments.